Hi guys. So our next section of text that we're going to be reading through are going to be about the middle colonies, and so obviously they're south of the colonies that we just studied about. When we studied about Rhode Island and Massachusetts, those two were New England colonies. Now these are the middle colonies. So we're going a little farther south now as we're moving south through all the 13 colonies. So the New York colony represents a group of colonies located more so in the middle. And we're going to learn about some of the traits and attributes of the New York colony and obviously some other colonies similar to that. Okay? The colony that the British named New York was originally settled by people from the Netherlands. The Netherlands, often called Holland, is a country in northern Europe. Its people are called Dutch. The Dutch came to the colony to set up fur trading posts. So that was one of the reasons why they came. The British, however, wanted this land so that the English settlers in New England could move westward. So in 1664, the British captured the colony, and the king gave the land to his brother, the Duke of York. New York's geography made it an excellent place for a colony. New York Harbor was ideal for shipping and trade. The valleys of the Hudson and the Mohawk rivers were well suited for farming and trade. Iron, which was a useful mineral, was available to be mined, which means dug out of the ground. Okay, so here's some of the geography, climate of the area that makes it good. And here's the climate information. Winters in New York were cold and the summers were really hot and humid, which means the same as moist. But long growing seasons in the valleys and along the coast made the farming easier than in New England. So now we're comparing the middle colonies like New York to New England. Obviously, farming was a little bit easier in the middle colonies. The land wasn't as rocky. Okay. Now, the economy. New York's economy offered good jobs for some people, but also used the unpaid work of others. Farmers grew wheat, corn, vegetables, and tobacco. Other New Yorkers became miners, lumbermen, sailors, trappers, merchants, and craftsmen. However, some of these workers were indentured servants or African slaves. So we've studied a little bit. We know a little bit about the indentured servants, African slaves. We learned about that in some of the texts that we read for reading. So some of the indentured servants or the African slaves served through some of these jobs. Okay. All right, now for the government of New York. It says, colonists had little say in New York's government. The colony had a powerful governor who was appointed by British royalty. The governor appointed other officials and enforced the laws. So we know that New York had they had someone else basically who ruled it. The governor was the person who made all the decisions because the colonists, they didn't have much say. We didn't have people who were able to vote in that situation. Okay. Here you can see on this picture, it says in 1664 the British took New York, shown below, from the Dutch. After that, British settlers in the New England colonies could move westward. So there's a picture of a coastline there in New York, or a harbor there in New York. Okay, and what things might have looked like during that time. Okay, so what you're going to do is think about the characteristics of New York and start thinking about now how they're similar or different to the two other colonies that we've learned about so far. Okay, thanks guys.